Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Sam Slade. Welcome on in, my friends. Happy motherfucking Monday. How we feeling? How we doing? Another day, another Monday, a new week. How are we feeling, man? How are we feeling? Like I said, I'm your host, Sam Slays. This is episode 229 of the Music Mondays podcast, man. How we doing? How we feeling? Man, we are into June. This is our second episode of June, actually, which is pretty sick. Finally starting to get warmer on the East Coast a bit, but it like got a bit too warm, and it was fucking like hot as shit for like a couple days last week, so that was pretty crazy. But it's kind of chilled out, got like the mid 70s, like low 80s kind of thing, Like when you go from like 60s to like 90, it's such a drag. It's such a drag. But you guys know the drill, man. Let's get into it. How we feeling? Going down. Quite the show for you guys tonight, actually. Decent lineup for some submissions. We're gonna go over some weekly recap jazz. We're gonna talk about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of next week or so. A couple other things to get done, my friends. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. All right, weekly recap stuff first, my friends. All right, let's get into it. So, what happened at Music Mondays over the last week or so? Let's talk about it. Let's see. So, per usual, Music Money's basic logo T-shirts are available and in stock right now. We actually have a couple things to update you guys about that, relatively soon. So that'll be coming up, but we still do have smalls, mediums, and larges. So again, make sure you send us a DM, send us an email, send us an message if you're interested in purchasing one of those. $20 flat shipping in the United States only. Um, let's see here. So that's per usual. Heading into Tuesday. So, every single Tuesday following a live show, we do upload the Music Mondays podcast on our Patreon early for you guys to access, download, record. You want to clip it, you want to do anything like that, you have full access to it over there on the Music Mondays Patreon. And of course, you have full access to the whole archive. So, if you ever want to download any episodes of the Music Mondays podcast, you can definitely go check those out on the Patreon. Let's see here. So that was Tuesday, and of course, submissions open for the Music Mondays podcast every single Tuesday, following the live show. So again, if you want to submit for episode 230, submissions will be live tomorrow, June 10th. Um, let's see. So heading into Wednesday, SoundCloud Sunday submissions do go live every single Wednesday. So again, if you'd like to have a placement on our weekly SoundCloud playlist that does drop every single Sunday, definitely follow us on socials, stay up to date with all of our playlist submissions and pretty much all of our submissions when everything goes live. So SoundCloud Sunday submissions do go live every single Wednesday. Let's see here. So, also heading into Wednesday, we have a brand new SoundCloud exclusive that's live right now by the homie Jin. Jin actually did a wonderful job on a super interesting SoundCloud exclusive. So definitely go check that out and go show Jin some love. Fantastic track over there. Busy week here at Music Mondays, actually. And then, of course, we do some audio podcast promo every single Wednesday. So this last Wednesday was pretty stacked for us, for sure, which was nice, of course. But heading into Thursday, a episode 228 of the Music Mondays podcast did drop on all audio platforms. And it does drop on all audio platforms every single Thursday. So again, if you miss the live shows on Mondays, you can definitely go check it out over there on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good jazz. So episode 228 is available right now on all audio platforms. So let's see. And of course, we did drop a brand new YouTube upload, except something that was a little different this week. A brand new exclusive music video by the homie Most Dope Kimon. Kimon has been tossing us a lot of content, so definitely go check it out and go show Kimon some love. That is a W fucking video. Wonderfully edited. I think we're going to react to it here tonight as well, because Kimon actually submitted it, so that'll be fun. But that is available right now on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. Okay. So, let's see. Heading into Friday, two brand new articles did drop. One by the homie Con Binny, where she kind of broke down a very, very talented artist. So definitely go check that out. And the homie M Bischoff, two very talented Music Money staff writers, and they both put up some new reviews. So definitely go check those out. Definitely go show those artists and those writers some love. Huge shout out to the Music Money's staff team. So pretty stacked week so far, man. I mean, Thursday was stacked, Friday was stacked. Heading into Saturday, episode 228 of the Music Mondays podcast is available on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So again, if you missed the live show and you want to go watch it on YouTube or anything like that, the show does drop every single Saturday. So just keep that in mind and make sure you go subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already, because we do upload 2 times per week. But that was Saturday. Heading into Sunday, SoundCloud Sunday Volume 190 is available right now on the Music Mondays SoundCloud. That was curated and cover art done by me. Again, SoundCloud Sunday submissions do open every single Wednesday, so if you'd like to be a part of our weekly SoundCloud playlist, make sure you drop your links and tracks every single Wednesday. And submissions don't close up until pretty much the playlist drops. So feel free to submit tracks on Sunday or anything like that. But as soon as the playlist goes live, obviously, that's when submissions do close. But SoundCloud Sunday Volume 190 is available right now, so definitely go check that out. The thing with Volume 190 is like that's like the next that's the next milestone, really. I mean, because we got like 195 coming up, and then we got 200 volumes of SoundCloud Sunday, which is fucking sick. Which isn't a lot, even though I think we were doing SoundCloud Sunday before the Music Mondays podcast, or were we? No, because we're on 229 here on the show, so. I started SoundCloud Sunday at Music Mondays a little bit later, but it doesn't even feel that long. But again, Volume 190 is available right now, and submissions do open every single Wednesday. And that takes us into today, Monday, June 9th, episode 229. We're here live, we're chilling. That is your weekly recap, and that's pretty much everything you missed over the course of the last 7 days. Alrighty, my friends, let's talk about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. Let's get into it. Big things here. We're making some real good progress on our next event. So that'll be something that I'll start slowly revealing to you guys over the next couple weeks. Again, this one is one of those events where, like I said, it's going to be not like a one-day thing. It's going to be a bit of a longer event. And I want to make sure that we're really set in stone with it. I don't want to leak anything yet too like detailed, but once we have pretty much all the materials that we need and a flyer ready to go and a format ready to go, I think that's when we can obviously announce it and start talking here on the show about it. But again, we're in the middle of planning our next summer event, so I'd like to have that done ideally for July, and then we can do the event at some point in July, and then we can continue on with the rest of our year's events, right? So I think we'll do this next special event that we've never done. Then following that, we'll do a new album, and then following that we'll do Cyberfest 3, and then we have the Music Mondays Awards at the end of 2025. So that'll be fun. That'll be really, really fun. But that's kind of like what the rough event schedule kind of looks like long term, so I'm thinking like July, and then like September-ish, and then like October, maybe November, and then we follow it up with the Music Mondays Awards like we do every year in December. So that'll be sick. But that's pretty much like the event schedule so far, and what I think things are going to look like. Of course, we're going to have some surprise things here or there and some new additions to stuff, but that's like the bigger kind of outline, you know what I'm saying? So that's important. Outside of that, your monthly and weekly content will be staying the same. A lot of YouTube series will be coming back, right? Like Workshop Wednesday, Feature Friday. A lot of our video interviews are going to be coming back as well. So I have a few of those schedules over the next couple of months or so. And, I really want to get back on the horse with those. So I think those content pieces are going to be really cool to get into. Like I said, your monthly and weekly content will pretty much be staying the same, but we're going to be bringing a lot of OG stuff back. Some new stuff's going to be coming in. We're going to continue with recruiting, but we'll talk about that in a second. But realistically, yeah, we're full steam ahead with the rest of 2025. So I'm excited. Not much is changing on like the content front. Everything will still be the same schedule-wise. Articles every Friday, the podcast every Monday, SoundCloud Sunday, all that good jazz. So nothing's changing on that front. But when it comes down to the bigger scale of things, that's pretty much what it looks like. So that's what's coming on, Music Mondays over this, I'd say like the next couple weeks or so. So that's that, and of course I'll keep you guys updated here on the podcast. That's pretty much where you're going to be able to find out everything first. If not, make sure you follow us on Twitter for any kind of like emergency announcements or anything like that. All right. So let's sip some coffee here. All right. Um, let's get into it. So we spoke weekly recap, Jazz. We spoke about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. Let's talk recruiting real quick. I'm in the middle of a few conversations right now, actually, with a couple new recruits for Music Mondays. Hopefully, we're going to be getting some new writers aboard and some new faces that'll kind of help elevate Music Mondays and get us into some subgenres and scenes and things like that that we otherwise wouldn't be. But again, Music Mondays is recruiting. We are looking for all of our staff roles. So if you're a writer, journalist, designer, curator, you want to do long form content, you want to do short form content, you want to do some YouTube stuff, anything like that, we are recruiting for all of our staff roles. So again, send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email if that's something that interests you. Resume preferred, but definitely not required. We're always willing to kind of show anybody new the ropes when it comes to writing or designing or anything like that. So if you're kind of interested in learning as well, definitely let us know. Send us a DM, message, email, or anything like that, and we'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Let's see, and of course, there is a Music Mondays role guide on our YouTube channel where I kind of break down all the Music Monday staff roles in greater detail. I kind of talk about what kind of content you'll be putting out, your schedule, your benefits, and things like that. So definitely go check that out if you want any more information on the Music Monday staff team. So outside of recruiting, we are on the hunt for more SoundCloud exclusives. If you have an unreleased SoundCloud track that you'd like to have hosted and promoted on the Music Mondays SoundCloud, and of course across all of our social media for completely free, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. We've been pumping out exclusives like crazy recently. I think we've gotten one from Zim. We got that one from Jin. We recently dropped one with Kimon over there on our YouTube channel. So again, we are only interested in unreleased material. So if you feel like you want to go put it on DSPs later, you want to go do a music video, you want to go put it on Bandcamp, anything like that is fine. But we're only interested in the SoundCloud version of the track. And again, of course, hosted and promoted across all of our social media for completely free. So definitely let us know if that's something that interests you. Same goes for YouTube as well. Like I said, we just dropped a crazy music video with the homie Kimon on the Music Mondays YouTube channel, so definitely go check that out. But if you have a music video, visual, AMV, even if you just want some audio hosted on the Music Mondays YouTube channel of over 300 subscribers for completely free and promoted across all of our social media, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. We're only interested in unreleased material. So if that's something that kind of piques your interest, let us know for sure. So that's exclusive, Jazz. We got Ghost in the chat. What's cracking, Ghost? I hope you're well. How we feeling? Happy Monday. Let's get it, baby. Shit. So, weekly recap, recruiting, exclusives, what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. What's the last thing we got to speak about here? Yeah, because we did community feedback last week, but that's got to drop this week. So I think we can actually move right into some reactions and reviews. Actually, I think it is about that time, my friends. I think it is about that time. All right. So let's see here. Give our playlist a little bit of a pause, and we'll hop over to Twitter. All right. I'm good. Just working on my first EP. I'm looking to drop it in 3 months or so. Love that. Let's get it, baby. 3 months or so. So what? That's like looking like September, fall, October drop. That'd be sick. Yeah, definitely. That'd be really sick. Alrighty. Like I said, let's pop over to Twitter and let's see what's going down. All right. Just after summer, right. Let's see. So you guys know the drill. Submissions are always in the same format every single week, and they'll always read. Artist and creative submissions are live reviews on Music Mondays, live on June 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/SonPlays, which is here and now. Again, these tweets are always in the same formats. I'll let you guys know if it ever changes. It definitely won't. but just make sure you're submitting for a show that hasn't happened, because you'd be surprised how many tweets we get for shows that are a bit older or even years older. So make sure you're just submitting for a show that has not happened yet. So double check that date for sure. Outside of that, if you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creations, drop your links and portfolios below. So again, contrary to our name, Music Mondays, we've reacted to pretty much everything here on the show. Everything from obviously vocals to instrumentals to remixes to covers to YouTube edits, music videos, photography, videography, poetry, writing, articles, literally you name it, we've reacted to it. Because again, so many underground creatives are multi-talented, right? A lot of producers also engineer, a lot of engineers also do vocals, a lot of digital artists also do physical art and X, Y, or Z. So we like to give everybody kind of a fair shake. So if you feel like you deserve some spotlight over here on the Music Mondays podcast, definitely feel free to drop your links and portfolios below. All out forums welcome, of course. Outside of that 3-hour show limits, just to make the show a little bit more palatable to watch back and a little bit more easier to do on a weekly basis. So again, a 3-hour show is a little bit tight to watch back, but it's definitely a lot shorter, like I always say, than some of our earlier shows that used to run like 5-6 hours. So again, with that in mind, we are one of the only weekly live shows here on Twitch every single Monday. So we like to be able to give you guys at least a pretty consistent, high quality show to the best of our ability, right? So again, 3-hour show limit, so just keep that in mind. Outside of that, submissions are free. They always have been free. They always will be free. But the only thing that we do ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter before you do submit. Not only does that help spread our message and grow our community, but that helps pay respect to everybody else that does wait for their submissions to be reacted to. So again, submissions are free. They always have been free. They always will be free. But just make sure you're following Music Mondays on Twitter before you do submit. Let's see. Outside of that, Patreon subscriber submissions are played first every single week here on the show. So if you're subscribed to the Music Mondays Patreon at any tier, whether that be basic, advanced, or premium, you have the ability to gain all of the perks and rewards over there for each tier. But of course, you gain access to what's called the Music Mondays Fast Pass, which for the duration that you're pledged to the Music Mondays Patreon allows for you to have your submissions not only be guaranteed to be played on the show, but your submissions will be played first on the show. So again, once the show goes live, obviously you'll be one of the first submissions that people see, but at the same time, when the show gets uploaded and archived and people go and watch the show back, once again, you'll be one of the first submissions that people see. And on top of it, it kind of guarantees that your submission actually gets played, because some weeks, like I said, we get upwards of 30 to 40 submissions sometimes, and that's definitely a lot to sit through in one show. So we might miss a few people's submissions. So again, if you like to have your submissions guaranteed to be played, definitely go check out the Music Mondays Patreon. Outside of that, one last thing we do gotta mention is submissions do close about a couple hours before the show starts. So again, submissions are open for about a week or so, but a good rule of thumb is that if you see the show live, submissions are closed. We do keep the submission order pretty organic, right? We like to keep it kind of as organic and as fair as possible. So we don't want somebody submitting, halfway through the show, and then it kind of messes up the order when somebody was, waiting in line and X, Y, or Z. So again, you have about a good 6.5 days or so to submit. So realistically, plenty of time. But like I said, good rule of thumb is that if the show is live, submissions are closed. Outside of that, my friends, I think we're good. I do have a how to submit to the Music Mondays podcast guide on the YouTube channel if you like a little bit more explanation on the show, why we take submissions on Twitter, how the show came to be, and things like that. I dive into a little bit more detail over there, so definitely go check out that video, because that just got redone for the new year. So let's get into it. I believe we only have one Patreon tonight, and then we're gonna hop into the rest of the community submissions. So let's see here. Let's just take a double check just in case. Okay, yes, one Patreon tonight, and it is the homie Jordan. And they came through with a crazy ass GIF. I love this GIF. It's sick. It's actually really, really fucking sick. But Jordan's been on a run, man. Jordan's been on a run in 2025. I can't speak highly enough about them, man. Multi-genre, multi-talented, just really pumping out work that speaks to them, and it just seems so authentic. Especially recently, man. Like, we've been kicking off the show with them for quite a while now. Like, the last couple weeks or so, and it's just been a pleasure. But this week they came through with a SoundCloud link. Let's see what they got. I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. Let's take a peek here. Stripes up in the upside down American flag. How fitting. How fitting, my friends. How fitting. Wow, wow, wow. I love that. Okay, this will be interesting. Stripes up, Jordan. Let's get into it.
What would you change?
It will sting a bit, but
Okay.
for your own growth, bro.
Stripes up, stars are falling out the sky. If it don't concern you now, could you tell me how, why? Do you really think you're who they will protect? The bottom line, the only thing they do respect, and making all this worth their time. I really make it worse, I'm trying to find the point of discomfort. Surgically looking to remove anything in the way of everything. It's an emergency. Starts with the rivers and crosses the seas. They cost us the trees, cost us our peace. Out to LA right now, they need our prayers. Out in Cali, evil players plotting now. We have a chance to show the world what this isn't. To the point where it's fuck you for real if you feel different. Causes linked together across the globe. There's more of us. Oh yeah, they know. There's more of us, and that's why there's hope. There's more of us with common goals and struggles. If you think you share common interests with oligarchs, let me not be subtle. There's a problem with your ability to recognize yourself. At best, there's a problem with the way you look at help. Now why do you think you deserve to be even a little blessed? Flag turned over, symbol of distress. Imbalance getting closer to spill into a mess. The challenge ahead, feelings to address. I'm focused and chasing what runs for me. I'm digging deeper now, what's underneath. I can't even sleep, what's gotten to me. I'd like to change how it's gotta be. I like the rain, now it's calming me. When times will change, I see the falling leaves. World's insane, what should I believe? If it's worth the same, I save my time for me. It's time for you, time for us. They try to tell me how my life should be. They try to sell me something I don't need. They need my vote, they need my belief. But if I give you power, then you owe me things.
Man,
Anybody here?
You come in here and you talk about do this, do that, think this way, be this way.
you know, I had a feeling, man. Like as soon as I saw the upside down flag, I was like, "Oh fuck, we are about to be in for it." But a very important message, especially for right now. Obviously, uploaded 9 hours ago, so this was definitely fresh on Jordan's mind, and I feel like it was fresh on everybody's mind. To be real with you. So yeah, it's been quite the journey when it comes down to something like this. But let's break it down. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. What a track, man! Wow, wow, wow. Lots to say about this one. All right. So again, one of those tracks where the message is just very, very important, and it's one of those things where, as an artist, sometimes um, tweeting about it and sharing stuff isn't enough. Sometimes, like sometimes you actually have to write about it. Sometimes you actually have to like put something out into the world, like like your thoughts, like in that moment when you're kind of dealing with something like this. Um, it's rough, man. It's definitely rough, and this is what I try to tell all my artists and my team and things like that is you can't get frustrated too much, because us is just kind of like average artists and like average people, right? Um, we have some pull with our names, but I think it's important to kind of like continue to spread a positive message and spread a good kind of mindset with your music and with your art. You know what I mean? Like that's how we can make a difference. Especially as we grow. But regardless, I digress. Let's get into it. We're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals. We're gonna talk about the overall theme of this track. Very obvious theme. Um, hmm. Let's talk instrumental. So I assume, actually I didn't even check the description. Was there a description here? No, yeah. And it's just the Statue of Liberty. That's actually crazy. I actually just noticed that. I just noticed that. Holy shit. Um, wow, 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 wow. That's iconic. But yeah, I assume obviously Prod Jordan. I mean, Jordan would definitely put the prod in the description if it wasn't. But regardless, I love the mix. Nothing clashy, too overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change on this. I mean, Jordan's mix has been really, really fucking on point, especially in 2025. Like over the last 6 months, I don't think there's been one track where I've kind of like turned my nose at it. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, ooh, that was a bit off. I mean, yeah, there's like small things here and there, but that's everybody. So it's like, there's definitely hasn't been anything major, and this one kind of like falls in line with that kind of sentiment there. So like I said, mix is solid. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change about this at all. Sound selection's great. Vocals sound fantastic. It's a very chill, like free canvas kind of beat where you could have like really spoke about anything you wanted to. So it was a great choice for this kind of message. So mix is solid. Let's talk Shining Star. Instrumental Shining Star, man. Uh, hmm. The sample and the melodies just like do a really good job kind of setting the mood, right? But the drums are up there. But I think a very underrated part about this is the structure. I'm not gonna lie to you. Especially like when the drums actually come in. I feel like the structure is pretty underrated. Something that you could like gloss over. So I'm gonna go structure here for sure. Instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, great. Gritty, raspy, honest. Still feel the emotion inside the Jordan vocals, but uh, nothing that's like low quality or anything like that. Because levels are good. Drums cut through nicely. Vocals sit nice on the instrumental. I mean, kind of like I said for the instrumental part of the mix. It's been very consistent for the last 6 months, especially in 2025. So not really a shocker, but something I always want to point out for anybody new. So vocal mix up there. Vocal Shining Star. I mean, mm, it's insane if you don't say writing, right? But you kind of could argue flow and cadence and delivery too, though. Mm, hmm. Let's go writing just because of the message. I just feel like the message is so important, and it's not just all like one kind of like one tone message. Like Jordan touches on a lot of like important aspects of the message itself, right? It's a very layered kind of message for sure. So let's go with writing and lyrics on this one, definitely. Um, shit. All right. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk theme. Of course, even just from the GIF alone, like it speaks volumes, and then the aesthetics and the cover. I mean, stripes up and obviously the upside down flag. Kind of a very obvious sort of theme here, right? And I feel like that's such a great, simple, very aesthetically pleasing, to be honest with you, photo to use. So I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot. Just based off the message alone. But overall theme, I mean, gotta be pretty obvious, right? I mean, with everything going on in the country right now, and the administration and the government, and it's a whole mess. And kind of like I said at the start, um, you know, I try to tell my team, and I try to tell like my artists and everybody around me, like we can only do so much as normal human normal human beings that kind of live like a regular life, right? And obviously, like I said, some of us have names, but even then, like you're not making millions of dollars to like actually make a difference, right? So it's like, how do we make a difference like on the ground? Obviously, you have like protesting and shit like that, but as an artist, right? Like thinking like in a creative way, how can I contribute? And this sort of shit is super important because for one, you're spreading a good message. For two, you're getting those thoughts like off of your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like getting that shit like out in tweets and arguing with people and in the DMs and all that other shit. It like it's like a temporary dopamine hit. It's like a temporary fix. This is how you get shit off your chest, and it doesn't even really have to be world events or anything like that. It can be, you know, literally anything in your life, right? I mean, I think the other example that I always talk about when we dive into more serious themes in songs is like breakups and love and like emotional tracks. I feel like those are a big deal as well. You know what I mean? And that's like such a healthy way to get a lot of those thoughts like off of your chest. So again, I feel like that's a little bit of what's going on here, but also um it's just an important message, man, and it really blows to see what's going, down in our country cuz it's just the most un-American shit ever. You know what I mean? Like I don't really get too political when it comes to Music Mondays or anything like that cuz this is a safe space for everybody, right? Like it's literally in our bio. You know what I mean? Like this is like for everybody. So we tend to stay away from that cuz all we care about is the art and the music. You know what I mean? Like we don't really care what you have going on or anything like that. You know what I mean? Cuz behind the scenes we're fighting for like a greater good. That's really what it is. And the work speaks for itself, and that's kind of like the same process that's going on with artists is if you're putting out the work and you're putting your message and your thoughts and putting out like a positive vibe. I think that's such a important thing to do sometimes. It's a very very important thing to do. But yeah, this is a great way to start the show. I actually really really like this one a lot. Well done. Well fucking done, my friend. Huge shout out to the homie Jordan. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Absolutely well done. Make sure you go follow Jordan on SoundCloud, by the way. They're only 9 followers away from 100. And of course, make sure you go follow Jordan on Twitter. They are only 2 followers away from 400. So make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you. All right, chat, what's going down? Had to finish out that submission. How we feeling? Ajak was taken on Twitch, catching my first live stream. Southpaw, let's get it, baby. Love that. I love that. I think it's also, yeah, right. I got you. Welcome back to the family. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome back, my friend. We got Unwook in the chat. What's cracking, my friend? Oh, my phone will die at work while I'm up in that Music Mondays, right? Yeah, no, that would be fucking ass. That would be ass. Shit. All right. I hope you guys are well. Hope everything's good. It was a very real way to start the show, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So, that was the only Patreon tonight. So again, huge shout out to all of our Music Mondays patrons. You guys are fucking wonderful individuals. Thank you. Just wanted to double check and make sure. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, so we're starting from top to bottom per usual. You guys know the drill. We're just gonna go right down the line. So first up, back with the homie Sam's Raps, a very, very talented hip-hop artist, by the way, has came through the track titled Nothing in their caption. More Sauce Gang, this time the cinematic outro of the tape, Nothing, brought by the homie Coffee B. Rappers in order, we got Grant, we got Uggy, we got Sam's Raps, we got Paulo, Yeti, and then Amenta, and then the Skip by Class, and then, okay. Wow, so this is pretty detailed. This is pretty fucking detailed. Shit, I mean, we've reacted to I think 3 or 4 tracks off the project now at this point. We've done the lead single, and I think we've done like 1 or 2 off the project. And so far they've all been really top tier, like very, very like top of the line, like everything is equal kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just like back-to-back heaters. Because sometimes you listen to a project and some songs are better than others and X, Y, or Z, but each song is kind of like lived up to the last, so to speak, right? So let's pop this open a new tab. Let's see what we got here. I'm down. I'm bringing on 2 songs today, probably. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Love that. My friend is Summer Forever. Oh, okay. I see you. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Yeah, that's happened quite a few times, actually. It's definitely not the first time, my friend. Definitely not the first time. But quite the crew on this track here. So we've done Flaming Lips. We've definitely done the Sizzla. We did Informant. I think. Oh yeah, and then we did track 10. Yeah, so we've done like 4 already, actually, which is great. But this is a 12-track project, so there is a lot to go through here. In terms of like a live reaction, right? But let's pop open track 12 because that's what's on the menu for tonight, my friends. Let's get it. Sauce Gang, Sam's Raps, and Nothing.
You and I both came from nothing. is all that endures, raising our hands to the silence of these sad and empty.
I'm petrified by life's many woes,
Whoa.
so I'm terrified. Got me staring out my window. I don't know if I will ever make it into paradise. So I'm smoking on my endo, baby. I don't wanna lead you down the road to jeopardize anything that I grow. It grows all scary motherfucker taking that shit worldwide. Boss sauce, brilliant my Negro, Southside Depot till the infinito. What is this you need though? Do you need some trees, bro? Got the sour diesel, got you on the zap. All you gotta say is please, yo. Gotta say is please, bro. When he's sucking on that desert eagle, memories flashing and Polaroids of all his people. But it's like a cop, a politician, and a preacher. Return him to the dust with sauce bumping out the speaker.
And I both get
Flow is crazy.
nothing. Nothing is all that endures, raising our hands to the silence of these
Yo,
sad
Sam.
and empty.
Last Saturday, topping on, drinking like some renegades. Moonlight shining in our pupils. But we gotta see the sun coming up from out the east. Till then, bitch, we keep like two roads. One tucked in the headband, other in the left ear. Yes, there is really that simple.
Damn.
Whole team in the tea house, scheming down the eastbound, brandishing the brand on the pistol.
Holy mama motherfucking Mia. Bump into the beehive, I'll uppercut you 3 times. Sauce gang, 1 in a million like Aaliyah. You're stuck in the middle of conflict like Crimea. Luckily, I already realized troubles from afar. Watched it happen before, like pressing rewind on a VCR. Cause the place that I come from prepared me for this life I'm in. Now I'm numb to it all like I swallowed 20 Vicodins.
Whoa. Whoa.
Nothing is all that endures,
Each verse just gets crazier and crazier.
raising our hands to the silence of these sad and empty.
All the others all sleep, though we in it to win it. We're like a homebound hero. Us in the beast, and that's what we call zero. I always be winning. I need a higher percentage. I need to up my game. They always say I got penmanship. I just wanna know what the Lord really feel my shit. Cause I've been through pressure turns off into a brick. Families fall apart. Drugs feel like a la carte. Where did it even start? Had to start somewhere, and that somewhere ain't no place to be. It's EVI. Silk sheets and felonies, these faces keep me tethered, and I'm drunk off my regrets again. My liver's drowning evidence. I wrote my name in cursive on the check, but ain't no heaven sent. Platinum plated, fake and never polished what the devil did. Leather seats, Beretta, peak temptation, play the felony. Do I let the devil speak or pray the Lord remember me? I've been up on this edge so long, the reaper grew again to me. And if I leave, the name will ever turn inside your memory.
Wow. Holy shit.
Sad and empty.
Well, that about wraps up this program, whatever the hell it was. You've been tuned into 97.9 Society Radio, the only radio station legally prohibited from operating near a school zone. I was your host, DJ Too Many Tags. I got fired mid-shift last week, but I kept showing up because I was scared to tell my mom. But, heat up the spaghetti, please. I'll be home soon. I love you. Fuck your favorite rapper. My piss is thick, and I'm a peacock, baby. You gotta let me fly.
Insane outro. I mean, a great way to end a project though. That did give like a good ending to like a story or like a journey kind of feel, And I agree on Luca. Definitely hype for sure. Wow. The thing is like they just been nailing every single track. I mean, like I said, we've done like 4 or 5 of these now already, and every single track has just been really, really like top tier work, like really top tier down to like the writing, the performing. It's just like Jesus. Wow. All right. You guys know the drill. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We're gonna talk about 3 things. We're talking about the instrumental, we're talking about vocals, and we're talking about the overall theme of the track. Instrumental is actually fucking insane. I won't lie to you. I love the structure of the instrumental. Using like the sample as like almost like a hook, and then just having like the drums come in on the verses. It was just insane. Like simple but very effective structure that like makes a song very enjoyable. You know what I mean? So I love the instrumental from top to bottom. So let's talk mix though. I mean, fantastic. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Not really a shocker, considering the rest of the tracks that we've heard from this project. You know, I can't really sit here and be like, oh my god, the mix is crazy, because every mix has just been very crisp, clean, straight to the point, you know what I mean? Especially with having like so many people on one track, right? I mean, anything more than like two or three, it starts to get a little bit weird if you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes working with people like that, and you know, actually getting a song to sound proper with that many different voices and things like that can sometimes be a challenge, like I said, if you don't know what you're doing. And it's very clear that everybody on this crew kind of has like, you know, the same book and everybody's on the same page. You know what I mean? And this is how you get something sounding like really flawless. And all the tracks have really been like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, nothing super clashy, too overbearing. I love the drums. Vocals sit nice. Everybody's voices kind of like complement each other. Nobody really sounds like off-putting or anything like that. So again, the instrumental mix really solid, really really solid. Instrumental Shining Star. Hmm. You know, the thing is, man, is like drums are up there, but I love how the sample was utilized. To be honest with you, like I really, really love how the sample is utilized. It's just one of those samples that like it's not too overdone, and the way it's used in the track is just so like so on point. At least for me, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna go with the sample, but the drums are a close second, and the structure too. But instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Much like the instrumental makes everybody's vocals sound really, really fucking solid. You know what I mean? Like I won't lie, like everybody's vocals sound really, really nice. You know, especially like when each verse comes in and everybody kind of like follows each other up. All the transitions are solid, levels are solid, quality's great. I mean, that's kind of to be expected at this point with the whole project, you know, because like I said, we're like 4 or 5 tracks in, and every single one has had like a very, very um, well done mix for sure. So not really a shocker, but again, something you always want to point out for anybody new here. But everybody's vocals sounded fantastic on this. Vocal Shining Star. Hmm. Shit. You know, writing's up there. Flow and Cadence is up there for sure. Hmm. This one, this one almost had like the most cipher kind of feel that we've had so far from Sauce Gang. To be honest with you, this one just felt like an all-out brawl with writing and lyrics. To be real with you, I mean the flow and cadence and deliveries were great, but you know just listening to the punchlines, the bars, and everybody's kind of like endings and starts of their verses is just really crazy. So I'm gonna go with writing and lyrics on this one, but you could kind of argue flow and cadence and delivery too, for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely a sample. Vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. I spoke a little bit about this cover the last couple submissions, but again, just to reiterate, I mean, I love the simple kind of aesthetic here, and you know, it feels like I said, kind of like one of those team label, almost project, you know, kind of covers. It really has that like crew feel to it, and then the font that was used, and then the simple color palette. I mean, again, love this cover. You know, really can't ask for much more, and it does, you know, feel like a project cover. You know, so aesthetics absolutely on point for sure. Simple and straight to the point, but still has like a shit ton of detail. You know what I mean? So, overall theme, like I said, this one kind of has like that. It nothing like it really, you know, in terms of the word nothing, it's not nothing, but it does have that like true cipher feel to it, where it really just felt like the best of everybody's writing for sure, and especially like all the verses back to back to back like that. It was just like damn, and how the beat was structured, it really did feel like an appropriate outro. You know, it really really did. Like kind of like one of those tracks where you wouldn't know like where to stick it on a project. You know, because I mean, you could have like used it in another place, but the fact it has like the skit at the end and how it was structured out, I feel like this was perfect, absolutely perfect. So, well done, my friends, well done. Huge shout out to the homies over at Sauce Gang. Huge shout out to Sam's Raps. Make sure you go follow all these wonderful individuals on Spotify. And of course, make sure you go follow Sam's Raps on Twitter. They are approaching 1.2K on the Bird app, so make sure you go show them some love over there on Twitter. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, all the good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you show these artists on the channel some love, baby. So let's get it. And if you already have, thank you. Appreciate you here at. Let's do it, baby. All right. So, we left off the homie Sam's Raps. Up next is the homie Deezit is back again with another submission. And this week, it looks like they submitted like a Spotify playlist. We'll have to pop that open and see what it is. But again, Deezit being a very talented hip hop artist, submitted for the first time, I think like a couple weeks ago. And their very first submission was absolutely insane. But they submitted with a video clip as well. Artist Deezit, album producer, recorded, arranged by Deezit. And it looks like the clip is for Majors. But did we react to Majors? I forget which single we reacted to. Okay, so this is a public playlist. All right, so we want to go back to the album. And kind of see. Yeah, so Dark Sands. I think we did Regroup, didn't we? Or no, we did Majors. I'm not sure. Yeah. Which one is in the video? Majors. Let's do track 3 just to be safe, but you know, Deezit can always resubmit Majors if we haven't done it. But I have a feeling that is the one that we did because we didn't do the intro because I remember saying it was like 34 seconds. So I'm pretty sure we did Majors. So let's do Dreams. Dreams will be track 3 off of Dark Sands. And again, Deezit, very talented hip hop artist. Second submission on the Music Mondays podcast. Let's get into it. Deezit, Dreams.
Dreams, make the bed for the ship before I die. Want the Knicks to win the championship.
Real.
My dead antlers in this. With the proper preparation, you still can prepare for this. I was pushing to a corner, my ops, I prepared for this. I was funky with the vocals, I had to get me a mint. How you looking for a large point just to condense? And my circle was too big, I had no line of defense. Flow is vertical, so they say I straddle the fence. Your catalog put together, it still don't add up to this. No Sharpie, I had the mark for a talent list. Don't you touched by the spirit, it was paralysis.
Wow.
Right. Been like the flames with the candles, see just the lighting souls. And I ain't have to go to no freak offs, that's just a brighter road.
Damn.
Over that air, let it breathe like it's so wide nose. And all these niggas got a price and made the fire cold. Seen the peaks, only you can reach, well that's inspired ghosts. What you have to tell them, fuck a friend, you see a lot of foes. I had a dream, I'm about to float. Then they told me get on stage and I was wide awoke. I know some dudes acting wild when they were sober broke. Then it turned holier than thou after sniffing. You know, too little woolly, I can strokes. No freaky, we had that black diggy train that go.
Oh shit. I was not expecting that switch up at all. Wow. Letting it ride out is a good choice. I like that. Just kind of like absorb like what you just heard kind of thing. You know what I mean? It really lets you take it in, so to speak. But man, well done. Well fucking done. I wasn't expecting the beat to switch up like that at all. But let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about three things here. We're going to talk about the instrumental. We're going to talk about vocals. And we're going to talk about the overall theme of Dreams. Somewhat of an interesting theme as well with Dreams. But we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's talk instrumental. I love the instrumental. Very creative. And I'm pretty sure Deeza mentioned that it was produced by them, right? Produced, recorded, and arranged by Deeza. Yeah, that's fucking insane. That is fucking insane because that instrumental is great. But let's talk about the mix, man. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. Nothing that I would really ultimately change. I mean, we haven't really had much more than like a sample size of Deeza. I think this is, again, like I said, the second submission that we've ever reacted to. But from just the two submissions alone, you can kind of tell that Deeza has a pretty good lock on their mix and their quality and how they want, you know, certain tracks and instrumentals to be sounding. So with that said, instrumental mix, like I said, fantastic. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. Nothing I would ultimately change on this, to be honest with you. Drums cut through nicely. Vocals definitely sit nice. Yeah, nothing really that I think I have a gripe with, to be real with you. So, instrumental mix, very solid. Instrumental Shining Star. You know, the sample, again, very well utilized. But for this one, I'm going to go with the structure just because I didn't really expect the drums to drop like that. You know, like there's some like light drums at the start, but like the second half of the song brings a whole new energy. And I just wasn't expecting it. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like slow, chill, like just use the sample and kind of like ride on that. But the drums came in at such a great time that I was just like, oh shit, you know? So it kind of makes you take the song a little bit more seriously as well. Not that you didn't before, but kind of makes you like, you know, turn your head if like you don't know what's coming kind of thing. So yeah, man. Instrumental Shining Star, structure. Definitely structure. Their instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, again, great. Fantastic. Especially for like that raw like OG hip hop style. This is fantastic. Quality's great. Everything's kind of, you know, tight and well rounded, but still very like high in quality. Levels are solid. Nothing, again, thinking back on it, that I would like really ultimately have a gripe with. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would say the same for vocals, man. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So, vocal mix solid. Vocal Shining Star. You know, I did really like the writing and lyrics on this one. I won't lie. You know, I really, really did, but I'm gonna go with the flow and cadence and delivery. I feel like the flow and cadence and delivery on this was just like it had you so locked into the lyrics, and especially with like the whole feel of the sample and the flow with it. Yeah, no, definitely flow and cadence and delivery for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely structure, vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. Let's see here. So we reacted to the Dark Sands cover a little bit earlier, but I do remember saying this does remind me of like when you're at the beach or anywhere with sand really, and it gets wet and then it dries out. This is what it like totally reminds me of that, like super, super heavy. So I'm a big, big fan of this cover. Definitely screams Project vibes as well. I love the text at the top, and then you have Deeza in the bottom middle. I mean, not much more to kind of gripe about there, you know. I feel like aesthetics are definitely on point, especially for a project called Dark Sands, you know. So aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme of Dreams, you know, very very interesting because like it's a very like light subject, but I feel like Deeza kind of dives into dreams from, you know, a couple of different angles, you know, whether it's their dreams or other people's dreams or what they would do in other people's shoes. And there's a lot of like comparisons, and there's a lot of like very like visual kind of writing here, you know, like it's very easy to like envision what Deeza is really speaking of, you know, especially with the sample. Like it almost does feel like very ethereal or dreamlike, you know. It really does. It really, really does. Yeah, so this is one where you gotta like spin it back a few times and really appreciate what Deezit did on this. Definitely, because there's lines to be picked up in multiple listens, and it's one of those ones that I feel like you could really like overlook on a project. So but well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Homie Deezit. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you go follow Deezit on Twitter. They are approaching 1.9K on the bird out, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, underground tips and tricks. A whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel, man. So make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love. And like I always say, if you already have, thank you. We see you guys dropping likes, comments, all that good jazz. Appreciate you. Thank you. Can't find the Summer's Forever submission. I don't know where it went. That was super. Oh yeah. I do remember you replying to it. I vaguely remember that. Yeah. Damn. I wonder why they deleted it. But either way, no worries, because you're up next as we continue on. So, like I said, we left off with the homie Deezit. Up next is the homies Hedgelocked. So, they came through with a SoundCloud track. Obviously, Hedgelock being a very, very talented multi-genre artist. Thought I'd show off some of my production. This is from a couple years ago, my debut instrumental project, So What Now? Ladyface stuff coming soon. I'm down. I'm definitely down. All right, so let's see here. All right, so we're going to pop this open in a new tab. And let's see, we got I Am Down. Let's see. So 1 year ago, definitely not like super new, but definitely not super old. Like November 23. Yeah, so I'm not too old whatsoever at all. So we've had quite a few submissions from Hedgelocked, but the instrumental ones have also been pretty insane as well from what I remember, but I'm down. Let's get into it. Gun to a Knife Fight. Wow. Solid outro. Okay. Yeah, I see the vision. Holy shit. Yeah. So this man, this kind of reminded me of like some like really like early like 2018 like 2019 like grief. You know what I mean? Like really old grief, or like even just like that cloud rap era of just even spooky black shit, and really reminds me of like those days. But it also has this like almost like lo-fi analog radio kind of feel to it as well. But super well done. Super well done. Very ethereal. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So, let's talk about two things because obviously no vocals. So we're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of this track. Rolling cymbals, my beloved. Right, right, for sure. Let's talk mix. Um, Thinking back on it, I mean, really solid. Especially for something that's like a little bit older. Like a year or so is not that crazy, but a lot of progress can be made in a year, right? So, but even with that said, I feel like the mix was pretty solid. Nothing that I found to be clashy, too overbearing. Nothing I would like really, really ultimately change on this. I mean, sound selection was good, drum selection was good, patterns were solid. Nothing that I could really think of that struck me as like off-putting or anything like that. Especially with the levels, I feel like it was solid. Especially tracks like this where you're kind of using like live instrument based sounds, and then kind of mixing them with a couple of other things can be insane to mix sometimes, especially when it comes to instrumentals. So where the mix is right here, I feel like it's really solid, to be honest with you. So instrumental mix, definitely solid. Instrumental shining star. Hmm. I do like the drums a lot. I do like the structure. Structure is definitely up there, especially in like the second half. I really, really like the outro. Let's say, well, I mean, yeah, but the melodies are up there too, though. 'Cause you can't forget about the melodies. Let's go structure on this one. Let's go structure on this one. Just because I really, really did enjoy the outro, to be honest with you. So let's go structure, for sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely structure. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. So what now? Again, these minimalistic kind of covers are always super, super fucking solid to me. Especially when you're using like an IRL photo or just something like, really simple, or you don't really want to go crazy with the cover art, or you're like, yo, like this is like the vision that I have for a certain project, X, Y, or Z. This is the type of shit that you can come up with. It's really, really simple, but it's very eye catching, and it gets the job done. Especially for a single or project. You know what I mean? So put your like real photos to use sometimes if you have a vision for it. I'm not saying you like need to or anything like that, but they do come out sick if you do get a little creative with them. You know what I mean? So aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme, gun to a knife fight. I mean, sometimes when it comes to production, right, and being a producer, sometimes you just name instrumentals, on certain days in certain ways because you just feel some type of way. Like when it comes to being a producer, man, like the only way that we can get our message out, right, especially like if you don't record vocals or anything like that, and you don't do vocals, like you get your thoughts out through the title, you get your thoughts out through the not only the title, but obviously your cover art. You're kind of like aesthetic themes as well kind of matter there too, but again, that's what's great about production, so you can really kind of like get your message in there, and like certain ways that maybe otherwise an artist wouldn't be able to, especially when it comes to using your production and things like that. So well done, my friend, well done. Huge shout out to homies Hedgelocked, and huge shout out to Southpaw. Make sure you go follow them on SoundCloud. They're only one follower away from 160, so make sure you go show them some love over there on SoundCloud. Well, now they're 10 away just because we just followed them, but make sure you go show them some love over there in the cloud. And of course, make sure you go follow them on Twitter as well. They are only 10 followers away from 270, so make sure you go show them some love. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you guys show these artists and the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Alrighty, my friends. Well done. Well done. All right, I'm gonna relink to Summer's first song in the OG post real quick if it still counts. Well, submissions are closed, but if we have some time at the end, we might get to it for sure. Mainly a vocalist, but it's fun to be able to produce outside of my main stuff. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's always like different things to do with production when it comes down to themes and what you want to get out of it. You know what I mean? And actually having a message. But well done. Well done. So up next would be the homie Jordan, but Jordan is a Music Mondays Patreon, so we've already reacted to Jordan earlier in the show. Make sure you go check out Jordan's submission, and make sure you go show Jordan some love, because that was actually a W fucking submission tonight, to be honest with you. That was definitely a W fucking submission. So following Jordan, let's see, we got the homie, the Single Digit. Now, the Single Digits has been on a tear. We've been going through a couple of their recent projects, but a multi-genre alternative artist, the Single Digits, came through with Let the World Know. And their caption, first single off the new album out July 4th. Thanks. Actually, it is pretty cool because the 4th of July is on a Friday this year. And I was on a meeting with somebody recently, and I was looking at the calendar, and I was like, holy shit, it actually is on a Friday. I was like, fuck me. Well, actually, I'll do you an even better. Halloween and the 4th of July are on a Friday this year. Keep that in mind. But regardless, like I said, they submitted a track titled Let the World Know. So I'm down. I'm chilling. Pop it open in a new tab. Hold on, let's give it a quick pause around here. Go full volume. Start from the top. Go 720. Do we have like a little visual here, or is it just like a visualizer? New single from the upcoming album Shadows and Silhouettes out July 4th. This premiered literally less than 2 weeks ago on May 30th. All right, I'm down. Let's get into it. Let the world know the Single Digits. Yeah, it's just a visualizer. Damn.
Sometimes it's all you need, and reasons to fight for the unknown.
Love the fade out as well. Well done. Love the fucking fade out. Fantastic. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Jamming kind of that classic 2000s feel. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The single digits is so good at that sound, and it feels very, modern and like, very progressive. All right. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So, um, let's see. All right, man. That was a pretty intense one, and again, another track with like a fantastic message. You know what I'm saying? Like really, really solid fucking message, and that's usually like what the single digits does. They have a very anti-establishment, anti-political kind of message. Which I mean, I always thought that was really sick, and that's really what rock and music in general should be about sometimes. And I feel like they do a really good job, kind of conveying their message, so to speak. So let's talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of "Let the World Know." So let's talk instrumental. Obviously, the instrumentals are a huge part of the single digits alone. Like, I feel like their instrumentals are so fucking. They're just beasts in themselves. You know what I mean? Like, their instrumentals are just fucking top tier, and they really have such a well-rounded kind of process to them, I almost want to say. They're very distinct and they're very specific, but this one has all the energy. It has like absolutely all the fucking energy. But let's talk about the mix, man. The mix is solid. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. Nothing that I would like ultimately change about the mix, to be honest with you. Again, we've been reacting to the single digits for a little while now, and even some of their earlier stuff, like their mixes have been really, really spot on. And even like some of the shaky mixes that we've heard from even, any artist that does this style, I feel like it even sounds grittier sometimes. It even almost sounds better, So, but again, as far as this one goes, instrumental mix, very much on point. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing, or anything that I would ultimately change on this. So, instrumental mix solid, instrumental shining star. Yeah. So instrumental shining star. Um. I mean, the melodies are up there, right? I mean, the guitars are fucking crazy. Melodies are definitely up there. But the drums too. I mean, the structure you could kind of argue as well. I feel like the structure you could definitely talk about. Let's go with the melodies. I feel like the guitars are just fucking crazy on this. Absolutely crazy. High energy, high octane, just really in your face, which helps the message kind of kind of helps the emphasis on the message, so to speak, I would say. So, instrumental shining star, definitely the melodies. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, per usual, fantastic. Like the single digits has always had a really solid vocal mix as well, especially when you think about the instrumental and how the songs are meant to be heard and what the message is. Like, again, gritty but still very crisp and clean. Levels are super solid. That's a very important part. And even dealing with like live instrument based instrumentals, especially with something like this, as we all know, sometimes mixing vocals on instrumentals like this can be a little bit of a bitch. Sometimes it's like, what the fuck, so. But vocal mix on this one, definitely solid. Really, really like the vocal mix on this. Vocal shining star. Vocal shining star. I do like the hook a lot. I feel like the hook is definitely up there. You could definitely argue the hook. But writing in general, I mean, just the message for the song alone is super important. That's what's probably gonna make me go writing and lyrics. I was gonna say like just the hook, but let's go writing and lyrics on this one just because of the message. Lots of powerful songs tonight, my friends. So instrumental solid, definitely the melodies, vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk theme, aesthetics. Very simple, clean, and crispy kind of cover for a lead single. I like it a lot. Let the World Know kind of in the top middle. and then the single digits logo in the bottom middle, and then kind of edited the visualizer as well on top of it, which I thought this was like really, really well done. I mean, even small shit like this can really make the difference in a track, you know? Like, really, really makes a difference in a track. So if you ever want to do shit like this for a YouTube channel or even just some small promo or anything like that, I feel like this shit's really, really solid. So, yeah. Aesthetics definitely on point, especially for like a lead single or just a single before you drop a project, you know? So, aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme, let the world know. I mean, like I said, the single digits is very, like their message and their writing and lyrics are very important to them, and they do a really good job conveying their message, and you know it's a positive one, right? Like anti-politics, anti-establishment, just kind of anti-corruption. I mean, it's all a really, really great thing to speak about. And even though, you know, shit's, you know, kind of in a weird place right now and everything's fucked up, I think songs like this, you know, and the ones that we've heard here tonight are very, very important. Like I said, you know, it's very important to get this message out there. And I always think the single digits dude did a really good job kind of conveying that message. But this one specifically, I thought was really fucking solid. So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie at Single Digits. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Make sure you go sub to their YouTube channel. We already are, but they're only 5 subs away from 60. Make sure you go show them some love on the tube, my friends. And of course, make sure you go follow them on Twitter. They are only 20 followers away from 500. That's a great milestone. Make sure you go show them some love over there on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Money's YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week. Every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists channel some love. Get it, baby. Well done. Well done. We've had some fucking heat tonight, my friends. My lord. Alright, so we left off with the homie Single Digits. Up next is the homie Ghost. Now, Ghost has been coming through with some fucking heaters recently, but Ghost is a very talented multi-genre producer. And we never really know what we're going to get from the homie Ghost, man, because Ghost could come through with some crazy shit, some new shit we've never heard, some unreleased shit, some produced shit that's already out and we haven't heard, you know? So it's a very grab bag mystery with the homie Ghost, man. But this week they came through with LaVerry's album, 3-beat, 8 intro. Okay. So we got a little LaVerry's instrumental here. I'm down. All right. Let's see here. Let's pop this open a new tab really quickly in Dropbox and see what we got. Bam. All right, let's do this. Let's see what Ghost has been cooking up, man. LaVerry's album, 3-beat, 8 intro, co-prod, AO plush, and set sona. All right, I'm down. I'm chilling. Let's get into it. This album is the second, but I already called the third one the second. I got you. I see the vision.
Be so fucking crazy that it must be Ghost produced.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. Wow. Holy shit, that was quite the trip. Wow. Your new Ghost, yep. Experimental type of 2093, 2099, yep. Yep, I agree. Beat wise, basically done already. Just need like 2 more beats. This might be the intro to the album, that's why it has the longest intro to it. Yeah, no, yeah, totally. I have a vision, but I don't know if it will be the intro yet. Right. Yeah, this felt like cyberpunk, almost like futuristic fucking like Blade Runner, fucking Fifth Element kind of feel to it. You know what I mean? It totally had that futuristic kind of feel, like Future Trap or something, or like Cyber Trap. You know what I mean? But well done. That was great. That was that was a fucking journey right there for sure. But let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. Obviously no vocals, so we're gonna be talking about 2 things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of this instrumental. So let's talk mix. Fantastic, especially with like all the unconventional sounds and things like that. I mean, if you've ever dealt with any sort of production, you kind of understand, like, when it comes to like some of those interesting sounds, like they can be weird to mix sometimes, or they could start clashing with like random other sounds and make your mix a bit weird. But as far as this mix goes, I definitely think it's solid. Nothing that really, like, I had like any major gripes with, to be real with you. Nothing clashing too overbearing. I feel like the structure really spreads it out a lot, which is nice. I feel like everything kind of has like room to breathe in this instrumental. So I feel like structure's definitely up there helping the mix as well. So with that said, the mix is great in my opinion. Nothing that I would like ultimately, switch up about this at all. I mean, not really a shocker, but something I always want to point out for anybody who's not that familiar with Ghost. But instrumental mix definitely up there for sure. Yeah, it's one of the last. Yeah, experiment. Yeah, right, Ghost. Right. Yeah. I hear you. So instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. With that said, the melodies and like some of the sound design is really crazy, but I think the thing that really sold it for me was the structure. Just because it felt like a journey, and like even with the long intro, I feel like it was appropriate in my opinion, because it didn't really make anything really that different. It was almost like a journey, you know what I mean? Like starting from the intro, and then you kind of like have these like crazy drum patterns that come in that are just like it's like in your face, and like not crazy in the aspect of they're just like insane, but it just goes so well with the like futuristic kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So structure for me kind of did the job 100%. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Let's talk theme. So obviously unreleased instrumental for Laveri, so no aesthetics or anything like that to go on, but we'll definitely be talking about it here on the show once it does go live. Overall theme though, I mean, it definitely does have that futuristic kind of feel to it, you know what I mean? It really, really does. The broads who did the loops on this album smashed it for real as well. Yeah, shout out to them too. Shout out to them for sure. Definitely shout out to them. We love that. But yeah, it definitely has that Cyberpunk 2093, Terminator, Blade Runner, the Fifth Element kind of feel to it, you know, and you know, Ghost fucking nailed it when it came down to like feeling like you're in the future, you know what I mean? Like even bumping this in the car, you'd fucking look around and you'd be like, wait, am I in fucking Cyberpunk? You know, like you start feeling like you're fucking turning into the fucking android or some shit like that. But yeah, I feel like the futuristic feel was very much prevalent here, definitely. So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to Homie Ghost. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Of course, make sure you go follow Ghost on Twitter. They're only 2 followers away from 530. Make sure you go show them some love on the Bird at my friends. Of course, every hour is featured in today's episode, and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a lot of good jazz is over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Thanks as always. Of course, thank you for your submission, my friend. Let's fucking get it. That one was crazy. That was actually fucking crazy. Well done. Well done. Alrighty, my friends. So you guys know the drill. We're about halfway through the show. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break. I'm gonna need everybody to get up, go take a smoke break. Maybe go, take a bathroom break. Maybe you gotta fucking walk the dog. Maybe you're gonna go get some ramen, or maybe you're gonna fucking, I don't know, do whatever you gotta do. But when we return, Music Mondays episode 229 will continue. So don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Music Mondays podcast, episode 229. I'm your host, Tom Slays. Hope you had a good commercial break, but we're back here live. We're chilling. Let's get back into it. So, we left off with the homie Ghost. Up next is the homie Braden. Now, like I said, Braden's also been on a tear in 2025. Lots of smaller EPs and projects, lots of full-length projects, lots of singles. Braden's definitely been on a tear, but a multi-genre artist, Braden submitted Ballin' Like I'm in Space Jam. Shout out to Space Jam, it's a classic. Let's see here. So, let's pop this open a new tab. Let's see what we got. Now, this is off their latest project that we've reacted to quite a bit of. I'd say like 50% or so. Yeah, because we did track 6, I think track 5, 8, and maybe like 15. We haven't done that many, but we've definitely done a few. But this week we're going into track number 12. So let's get into it. Braden, Ballin' Like I'm in Space Jam. Let's go. I'd love to see it. Let's get it, baby. Let's fucking get it.
My legs don't work, I get up too fast. How could I stand up for myself? She think I'm going for it, but I'm just trying to chat. It's like you don't need my help. I'm always hurt, this shit won't last. I couldn't be a man myself. If we go through the worst, I just might crash. I'ma just smoke top shelf. That's how I get through the day. All these bitches being too fake. You know I'm gonna pave the way. You know I'm gonna ride the wave. I know it's gonna be okay. I'ma go and push my weight. One day I'ma go to space. One day I am gonna make it. I don't care if I'm real famous. I'm not dying to be A-list, but I just want some attention because what I do is great. I ain't fucking with no lames. I ain't switching any lanes. This shit like natural selection, cause I'm fucking with the top dogs, even though they ain't the top boss. They really just shitty knockoffs of bitches that we used to knock off the top. Cleaning this crime up, I'm gonna need a mop. Tell a little bitch to drop it like it's hot. Getting paper like my name, Michael Scott. Like Hero Brian pulling up on your block. My legs don't work, I get up too fast. How could I stand up for myself? She think I'm going for it, but I'm just trying to chat. It's like you don't need my help. I'm always hurt, this shit won't last. I couldn't be a man myself. If we go through the worst, I just might crash. I'ma just smoke top shelf. That's how I get through the day. All these bitches being too fake. You know I'm gonna pave the way. You know I'm gonna ride the wave. I know it's gonna be okay. I'ma go and push my weight. One day I'ma go to space.
Go on, man. Well done. That almost had like a good like freestyle kind of like just like loose vibe, you know? It was very loose.
Being creative in thought, being like living life like a dream, you know? Like as far as
some of those X quotes are so crazy. I just remember those days. It's fucking wild. But Braden's used quite a few of those quotes on this project so far, which I think is really sick. But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it, because Braden, sheesh, man, sheesh. We're going to talk about 3 things here. We're going to talk about the instrumental, we're going to talk about vocals, and we're going to talk about the overall theme of Ballin' Like I'm in Space Jam. Definitely bringing it back to like the OG hip-hop, like OG trap vibe with Braden here. But again, that's why Braden's a very versatile artist. You know what I mean? Like, they can really spin any style, any way. Sad rap, emo rap, alternative, pop, trap, cyber stuff, plug stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen Braden really do it all here on Music Mondays. So, not really a shocker. But I do like the instrumental choice a lot. Instrumental mix. Let's talk about it. Fantastic, to be honest with you. Nothing like super clashy to overbearing. I feel like Braden sounds really, really good on this. Drums cut through nicely. Levels are solid. Quality solid. I mean, nothing really to gripe about too much on the instrumental side of things. So, instrumental mix definitely solid. Instrumental shining star. Huh. I do like the melodies here, but the drums are fucking insane. Especially the 808. Like, the sound selection on the drums is really, really solid. So, let's go with drums on this. Let's definitely go with drums on this. So, instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. Again, fantastic. Especially in terms of, like, strictly quality, though. Braden's vocal mix across the board all year has just been really, really fucking top tier. If I'm being honest with you. Braden's really done a good job, kind of like settling into their sound, no matter what style they're doing. Right? It could be some pop shit, it could be some alternative shit, it could be some like OG trap shit. So they do really well when it comes to the mixing. But vocal mix again, really solid. Levels are good. Nothing super clashy to overbearing. Like I said, drums cut through nicely. So nothing that I would like really ultimately change on this either. So vocal mix definitely up there. Vocal shining star. While I do like the writing, I think the flow and cadence and delivery was very loose and like very entertaining, and like really showed how Braden has really mastered their craft, so to speak, right? And they can really kind of hone in on like literally any style. So, definitely flow and cadence and delivery, 100%. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums, vocal solid, flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. So aesthetics, you guys know I've spoke about this cover a little bit already, but I just want to speak about it again for just a second. So when it comes to aesthetics, Braden's done a really good job keeping up with their like blue filter kind of aesthetics on a lot of their covers, but this one for like a full length is almost very ethereal and like cloud like, because of the handprint on the car, or even just like the window that it is. It's just a super solid shot, to be honest with you. Very like eerie, but simple and straight to the point. You know what I mean? So definitely project worthy in my opinion. That's totally one that I thought it was just a good choice to use, to be honest with you. So aesthetics on point. Overall theme, Ballin' Like I'm in Space Jam. So obviously a pun on the movie Space Jam, right? But Braden speaks a lot about accomplishing their goals, right? And like how you want to be balling, because it's like it's not really about becoming like super famous or anything like that, but we're all blessed to be able to have like a way to kind of use our talents for financial stability, right? And I think every artist deserves that, so tracks like these always remind you that everybody has the same common goal here, and well, at least most people do when it comes to like being like a serious artist, right? And this is one where again Braden makes like a fine point to be like it's not really about famous, it's just really more so about like balling out when you can, and trying to accomplish actual goals, and actually do things. It's not necessarily about the fame. So well done, my friend, well done. Definitely a solid message on this for sure. And again, sometimes it's just one of those things that you have to get off your chest, and sometimes you're like, fuck, that's so true, and then you start writing like crazy and you're like, what the fuck? Or even if you just in the studio punching in and punching out, sometimes it just comes to you like that, so like I said, well done, my friend, well done. Huge shout out to homie Braden, thank you so much for the submission, much love. Make sure you go follow Braden on Spotify, and of course make sure you go follow Braden on Twitter, my friends. They are only 6 followers away from 10, so make sure you go show them some love on the bird at, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. All right, my friends. Let's see. So we left off with the homie Braden. Up next is the homie Seasons. Now, Seasons is a very, very talented artist that we have reacted to quite a few times in like 2023, 2024-ish. But Seasons has been back on a tear. Back on a fucking tear. And like I said, a very, very talented alternative artist came through with a Spotify link. And I'm down it, because it's been a while since we heard from Seasons here on the show. I think it's been like a couple months or so, not too long, but been a little bit. Let's go see what Seasons has been up to, man. This is a Music Mondays OG right here. So they submitted a track titled Creeping Up, and this dropped obviously this year, May 23rd, so literally barely 2 weeks ago. I'm down. Let's get into it. Seasons, Creeping Up.
Not
Well done. Well done. Simple, straight to the point, honest, very authentic. I mean, that's what we've known seasons for here on the show, is just being such an authentic, emotional, and very raw kind of artist, and that's exactly what we got here, man. It's almost like dark pop, almost like goth pop. It's like it's got a specific flavor to it, you know. Oh man, oh man. Well done, my friend. Well done. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. So, we're gonna talk about three things here. Talk about the instrumental. We're talking about vocals, and we're talking about the overall theme of Creeping Up. So, let's talk instrumental. So I love the choice. Like I said, it kind of has like a dark pop, like goth pop almost kind of flavor to it. Fast paced, in your face, but still very like emotional as well. So um yeah. I love the choice, like I said. But let's talk about the mix. Mix is fantastic. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change on this. Season sounds fucking great on it. Drums cut through nicely. Melodies are great. I mean, what's to complain about a mix like that? You know what I mean? Definitely not. Definitely not. No gripes there. Usually Seasons is really known for like a solid mix anyway, but it's been a while since we've heard from them, at least like a couple months. And you know, sometimes when you jump from style to style, things can change, but definitely not here. Definitely not here. So mix is definitely on point in my opinion. Um, Instrumental Shining Star. Mm. I really do like the melodies here, but the drums kind of keep up the pace and the rhythm and the high energy. You know, it's mixing two emotions here, and the drums are very important for that. So, mm, yeah, let's go drums here for sure. But melodies and structure are probably a close second. But let's go drums. So instrumental solid, definitely drums. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix again, fantastic. Like Seasons really knows like how they want to sound on certain tracks and what their overall sound is. You know, it has like the perfect amount of effects, but also like leaves in like a real like perfect amount of like raw emotion. You know that I think this style of music always needs. You know, and you can tell that Seasons is very serious and very like honest. You know, and the mix is such a big part of that. So as far as this goes, mix is solid, especially when it comes to vocals. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing, like I said. Other than I would really ultimately change on this because it still has that raw and authentic style, you know. So vocals very much on point. Um, Vocal Shining Star. Hmm. Hmm. I do like the flow and cadence and delivery. I won't lie. Writing's really up there too for me. I really like the writing and lyrics for sure. But honestly, let's go flow and cadence and delivery for this. Let's definitely go flow and cadence and delivery because damn, yeah, especially like towards the end too, it got really gritty. So let's go flow and cadence and delivery for sure. Um, all right. So instrumental solid, definitely drums. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Talk theme, aesthetics, insane IRL cover, especially like with a shot like this. Like, come on, man. Again, for something called Creeping Up, or even just like the season's aesthetic in general, this is a really great shot. It even has like a little bit of that like analog look as well, you know, like that early like 2010s Tumblr kind of feel. And IRL shots like this just always work out. You know, I say it on the show time and time again. If you don't really want to go crazy with art, or you know, you have more like an IRL vision, this is the way to go for sure. So especially for like a single, right? So well done. Aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme, you know, anxiety. You know, Christ, everybody has anxiety to some degree, and some people have it a lot worse than others. And you know why that anxiety kind of plagues you is obviously different for everybody. You know, some people go through trauma, some people just go through fucking, you know, shit in life, and then some people just naturally have it. You know, some people just are just anxious for no reason. You know, and man, I feel like Seasons really describes it perfectly, you know, because creeping up, you know, because that's really what it is. Is anxiety creeps up on you, and then all of a sudden you're having a panic attack, you know, and you're calling the ambulance. And you're like, I'm having a heart attack, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And they do all the tests, they test the blood, they do all the shit, and they're like, nah, you're good, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it happens a lot, and anxiety's a bitch. You know, that's not a fun thing to deal with. I used to deal with it pretty heavily. I mean, I still deal with it sometimes, right? Like I said, like everybody gets anxious, but um, I used to be wicked bad with it when I was like in high school. You know what I mean? Those like high school years were a bitch for sure. That's when I was dealing with like most of my anxiety. But regardless, I do feel like Seasons definitely kind of described it pretty well. And again, a great song to kind of like get off your chest and like put out there, you know. Well done. Well done, my friend. Huge shout out to Homie Seasons. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify. And of course, make sure you go follow Seasons on Twitter. They are only 4 followers away from 40, so make sure you go show them some love on their new account. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists and show some love, baby. Let's get it. All right. Let's go, my friends. So, we left off with the Homie Seasons. Up next is the Homie Most Dope Kimon, and we have a very, very special submission from them this week. Kimon, a very, very talented multi-genre hip-hop artist, has came through with a brand new music video that just so conveniently is hosted on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So when Kimon kind of came through and really wanted to get something on the channel, I was instantly like, holy shit, you know what I mean? I was like, let's fucking go, 100%. So this will be very interesting to react to because obviously I've already seen it, but we haven't reacted to it live officially yet. So this is definitely something I do want to react to 100%. We got a little 720, obviously descriptions all there. Make sure you go follow Kimon and all that good jazz. Comments in here, great. So this will be very interesting. I'm down. I'm definitely down. But let's get into it. Most Dope Kimon, check out my light official music video. Let's go. Aesthetics on this is great. Dog of the Moon is crazy. Real underground shit right here. 100%. Real fucking underground shit. Music Mondays logo at the end. Shout out. That's such a great edit, man. That's such a great fucking edit. That is just wow. Wow. Fuck me. Alright, man. Let's see here. So let's talk about it. Let's dive into this one because I'm very excited. We're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're going to talk about the instrumental, we're going to talk about vocals, and we're going to talk about the official music video for Check Out My Light. So, let's talk about it. Instrumental. So, 2 prods on this instrumental, and again, a very typical Kimon type of instrumental. Because it's not exactly like your regular like plug and B trap stuff. It's very like specific, you know? And I was just talking to somebody about this on a meeting recently, but you know, it's a very specific style that certain artists need when it comes to this subgenre of trap and plug and B and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I love the choice, and it's a very Kimon style instrument. You know what I mean? With the screwed up spread too. Yeah, fucking Kimon was chilling. Yeah, for sure. Kimon was getting it. But I do like the choice, like I said. Instrumental mix though, fantastic, to be honest with you. I mean, throughout the last like 4 or 5 months, there really hasn't been any Kimon tracks that come to mind that really are off-putting when it comes to instrumental or when it comes to the mix or anything like that. You know what I mean? So mix is really, really solid here, especially with the drums. But again, nothing clashing too overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change with this instrumental. Drums cut through nicely. Vocals sit nice on the instrumental. Levels are great. I mean, definitely no complaints. Definitely not. So instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. So this one's important. Probably the drums, I won't lie. Probably the drums. I do like the melodies here, but the drums are such a big player and like really kind of captures the mood of the video. You know what I mean? Like watching like the video and the audio for the first time, everything just blends so well together. So for this one, let's go drums for sure. So instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, a very standard Kimon mix. Again, levels are great, quality's great. I mean, nothing that I could really think of that I had a real gripe with, especially with like the more melodic parts, because Kimon does get a little melodic here, and it sounds great. You know what I mean? It sounds great. Levels, quality, that's like the most important thing. And Kimon's really like fine-tuned his mix anyway, so it's one of those things where, again, that's very consistent. Very, very consistent. So vocal mix, very solid. Vocal shining star. I do like the writing. Writing's up there. But flow and cadence and delivery, I think, is probably going to take the cake for this one. I think flow and cadence and delivery is going to take the cake. Writing's up there. Writing and lyrics, of course. But flow and cadence and delivery, again, made this for a real enjoyable watch, for sure. So, instrumental solid. Definitely the drums. Vocal solid. Definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk about the official music video for Check Out My Light. So, man, I love this video as soon as I first saw it, and for a few reasons, right? Obviously, the edit is great because you have like Check Out My Light, most of Kimon, and it's like slow mode, and it's got the effects in the beginning, and then of course the Music Money's logo in the back. But I think the editing in general throughout the whole video is perfect for the setting, because we don't see too many nighttime Kimon videos. We see a few. I mean, we've seen a few, I guess you should really say, here on the show. But this one being a little bit more recent, it gave such a good like underground, like darker kind of like almost like almost like how do you describe that feeling? Because it is a bit darker, but it's almost like analog kind of VHS pushing towards like that found footage kind of feeling. You know what I mean? Like especially the shots, and then like with the moon shot here, like there's a shot that comes up. It's like right here, yeah, like where the moon is just perfectly placed in the background. Like this right here is crazy. This is a great shot. And I felt like, again, for a track titled Check Out My Light and like what Kimon's talking about, I feel like this is a fucking, like, it was just shot really, really well. Like, really, really well. And again, you only need like a couple locations, right? Because it only switches up like a couple times, but it's mostly the angles that were like a really, really big deal. You know what I mean? Especially the way it's edited too, and not the normal like landscape view. It's a little bit more on a different resolution, which I thought was great too. You know what I mean? So a lot of the small things that made this like really, really unique and really, really personal. Like that's one thing I really, really loved about this. I think that's editing all around. Yeah, no, I agree on Luca. I totally agree. But yeah, Shining Star with the official music video, probably, I do love the editing, but the locations were on point for me. I love the angles and the locations, just the nighttime video in general. It brings the good summer vibes, you know what I mean? But it's a bit darker, and it's a bit more like Kimon, It's very authentic, so. But well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Mosto Kimon. Make sure you go sub to their YouTube channel. It's literally in the description. Kimon's like on the road to like 100 or so. They're dropping a shit ton of videos over there, so make sure you go show them some love on YouTube. And of course, make sure you go follow Kimon on Twitter. They're only 7 followers away from 20. Make sure you go show them some love over there on the bird at my friend. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists and channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Well done. Well fucking done. That's such a good video, man. It's such a good fucking video. Alrighty here. So, let's see. We left off with the homie Most Up Kimon. Up next is the homie Offspring Mysterious, a multi-talented producer, engineer, designer, writer, editor, all of the above. Offspring has been killing their YouTube game, and they came through with a YouTube upload, Formidable Foe. I'm down. Let's get into it. Give it a quick little pause. Go full volume. Go 720. All right, let's get into it. Offspring Mysterious, Formidable Foe. Already look hella cinematic. Yeah, it's shit's gonna be crazy, I bet. Yeah, I remember that from the last time on Dragon Ball Z type beat. I remember now. New spot. We've never seen this. Bro's wounded. Thick ass tagline. I agree. Doing the Vegeta hold his arm and shit too. Yeah, no, it's iconic. I didn't even think about it like that. That's so iconic. Mental Breakdown. I remember reacting to this in like 2022. 2023 maybe. Classic Offspring. This beat is so hard. Oh shit. Bang it. laughing his ass off. That's a good beat. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Hmm. That one definitely progressed the story a lot too. Wow. All right. So let's break this one down. Let's break this one down. So I think the shining star here for this edition of Walking Onslaughts, to be honest with you, has to be the new locations. We saw a lot of new locations here that we have never seen before, and how Offspring filmed them was really, really solid. And then we had the stop motion fight in the middle. I thought that was a great addition. But this one was very important for the story progression. But I'd say the shining star is definitely some of the shots that Offspring got in some of these newer locations. Freshens things up like a bit, but also it kind of makes the story like more. What's the word? I guess you could say interesting, but it makes the story more flavorful, if you will. You know what I mean? So, Shining Star, definitely the locations. Love the shots, absolutely. Well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Offspring Mysterious. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Make sure you go subscribe to Offspring Mysterious's YouTube channel. They're only 2 subs away from 240. Make sure you go show them some love there on the tube. Of course, make sure you go follow Offspring Mysterious on Twitter. They are only 2 followers away from 810, so make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app, my friend. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the free upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 320 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. So again, make sure you go show these artists and the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Let's see here. So up next is the one and only homie Onwuka, because we just got finished with Offspring Mysterious. But up next is Onwuka, very talented hip hop artist. This came through the track titled Tidal Waves. Okay. Here's Tidal Waves, produced by Neuroshockers, who did Flabbergasted, elegant and seeing beach vibes blended with trippy elements in terms of production. About the impact I'm trying to leave with music, as well as a bonus true story about me at the beach as a kid. Shit. Okay. So the interesting one about this is this actually made SoundCloud Sunday, but we haven't reacted to it live yet here on the show. So I'm down. Let's get into it. Here's an Onwuka track. So okay. I see you, Onwuka. I see you, my friend. Oh, this art's crazy. Holy shit. All right. Let's see here. Oh shit, we got lyrics in description too. All right. I'm down. All right, let's get into it. Onwuka, Tidal Waves. Let's go. Brand new, actually. Thanks for adding that, by the way. Yeah, of course, my friend. Of course. No worries at all. Definitely a Beach Kingdom Hearts kind of vibe. Wow.
Neuroshockers Media with Onwuka what that title says. Like a tidal wave. Like a tidal wave. Life coming for you quicker like a tidal wave. Treat every millisecond like it's my final day. Can you still kill a wreck trick? What do you expect? And you know that I will find a way. You see what that title say. See my flow rushing like a tidal wave. Even if I meet my demise today, I live on my vibe, then tide will stay. Life coming for you quicker like a tidal wave. Treat every millisecond like it's my final day.
Damn.
Can you still kill a wreck trick? What do you expect? And you know that I will find a way. You see what that title say. See my flow rushing like a tidal wave. Even if I meet my demise today, I live on. My rival display
Whoa.
like a tidal wave. Moving fast, no time to say hi and wave. Music blast, hear it like right away. Gruesome chance, that's how it's a light of flame. Eating like a lizard to an ants. Give you a well-cooked meal while they just microwave. Going off like unhooked wheels. Let me show you how my style change. Like tidal waves, watch me describe a slang. A book release the truth, make the whole trial sway. Main just sinking, like what acid is contained in. My liquid is so bio spray. Made doses of the PD.
Holy shit.
Still feel wide awake, so alive and awake. Make your eyes dilate, penetrate your soul straight, violate. Bend the break it slow, like a root in the hand of a giant ape. Blazing galactic root drove, load of the stars like cosmic light escape. Heard me kill the track, I can't deny the tape. I gotta run, I'm out with the blind thing. To my hideaway, what am I trying to say? My flow is lit, it rushing like a tidal wave going inside the rave. I've always been connected to the below, son. I've always been connected to the below, son. One time, a young mind at the beach, my mother told me, don't go, son. Too far from its reach, but dumb, I'm caught and I drown in the ocean. My ancestors steered me back, brought in the land of safe and sound with the below, son. Beaming on my head as it appeared that the clouds around me is a no one. For a couple miles or more, solar hustle is my pride, my norm. With me, and that's the type of storm. Tidal wave hits you on sight when you're born. Internal pain like senior rivals. Infernal chains that restrict and deny your core. Not in the reins of it, just feels like you a visitor. On the ride that's for ever going, you can change the sights on tour. Every word that I write helps your mind explore itself. It delves something you can't buy off a shelf inside a store. The mind of a sight stay sharper than a Damascus knife or sword, rushing at you like a wild boar. While I switch this, my style's more like a water. Can't blow or crash like tidal waves. Shapeless, formless, high form spits. Road rash on the track from my straight up wrecking performance. Got you shaking afraid like when a storm hits.
Whoa.
Like a tidal wave, like a tidal wave. Standing tall like Howard Lionel stay. Still got time, hand me the ball. It's the final play. Like a tidal wave. Like a tidal wave, life coming for you quicker like a tidal wave. Treat every millisecond like it's my final day. Can you still kill a wreck trick? What do you expect? And you know that I will find a way. You see what that title say. See my flow rush seen like a tidal wave. Even if I meet my demise today, I'll live on. Wuka and Neuroshocker's media.
Wow. That was insane. That is one of the craziest Onwuka tracks, especially for like recent drops. Holy shit. Holy shit. Real story where I drowned at the beach, ended up miles away, thought it fit the vibe and storytelling of this track for sure. Wait, we gotta get you on the podcast to talk about that shit. I definitely want to hear that story. What the fuck? Wow, well done. That was one of the most insane tracks of the night. Jesus Christ. Man. All right, let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We're gonna talk about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of the track. So, let's talk instrumental. Instrumental mix, produced by the homie Neuro. I feel like it's fantastic, to be honest with you. You know, Onwuka sounds great on it. Even all the sounds are complementing each other. None of the drums get in the way of each other. Melodies are great. Levels are solid too. But yeah, drums cut through nicely. Nothing I would like really ultimately change on this one. I feel like Neuro did a really good job with the mix, so definitely no gripes with this at all. Especially with the more heavier sounds, you know. So instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. You know, the melodies and some of the smaller effects and some of the lighter stuff was really solid. But I'll be honest, I feel like the drums fucking killed it here. Definitely fucking killed it here. Drums just took over, man. Especially the bass. I don't know. I'm gonna go with drums on this one. Melody's a close second. Structure's pretty underrated too, but drums here are nuts. Very fast paced as well. So Instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. Again, a really solid Onwuka vocal mix, to be honest with you. I mean, whether it's a couple years old, a couple months old, a couple weeks old, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a really solid mix from Onwuka. And they have a really solid natural voice, especially for the style that they kind of create. So it's one of those things where you want to keep it consistent, and that's exactly what Onwuka does. So definitely no gripes with the vocal mix at all. Again, quality's great, levels are great. Nothing I would really ultimately gripe about, to be honest with you. So vocal mix definitely up there. Vocal shining star. Writing might be up there. I feel like you could argue writing. But flow and cadence and delivery, though, you can't really forget flow and cadence and delivery on this. Shit. Yeah, let's go flow and cadence and delivery. Especially for like a over a 3-minute track, flow and cadence and delivery was insane on this. It was very, very entertaining and just really showed off like Onwuka's true skill, So writing's a close second, but let's go flow and cadence and delivery. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums, vocal solid, flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme, aesthetics. Insane lighthouse picture here, especially with like the waves that are just like crashing around it, like lighthouse, tidal waves, beach vibes. Definitely hits that like summer sweet spot for sure. So aesthetics definitely on point, especially for like a quick single. Overall theme, Onwuka kind of dives into it a little bit here, about the impact I'm trying to leave with music, as well as a bonus true story about me, at the beach as a kid, which was fucking crazy because like more towards the end it turned into almost spoken word kind of poetry style rap, and that was really solid too. So Onwuka really showed almost like all their skill sets here when it comes down to like writing, flow and cadence and delivery, variety, what they can actually do on a track. Like this is again a really good representation of current Onwuka music in my opinion. So well fucking done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Onwuka. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Make sure you go follow Onwuka on SoundCloud, by the way. They're only one follower away from 70. So give them to 70. And of course, make sure you go follow Onwuka on Twitter. They are only 9 followers away from 730, so make sure you go show them some love over there on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 310 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you. Agree. No transition on here with OP. I agree. Yeah, and definitely, we definitely gotta schedule that for sure, so we can just like chat some shit, man. Definitely, because I totally want to hear that story. Thanks. Yeah, of course. Thank you for your submission, homie. Of course. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. More of a personal, insightful vibe. Yeah, a perfect way to like kick off like the summer season, in my opinion. I like that one a lot. Like a great way to just kind of like transition into the warmer months, But up next would be the homie Pegasus, but Pegasus does not follow Music Mondays on Twitter. So again, feel free to refollow us, Pegasus, and we'll be happy to go through your submission. And of course, submissions are free. They always have been free. They always will be free. But the only thing that we do ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. Not only to pay respect to everybody else that does wait for their submissions to be reacted to every week, but help spread our message and you gain access to a wonderfully talented, very, very friendly community. So again, feel free to resubmit whenever you do follow back, my friends. But that does it for episode 229 of the Music Mondays podcast. Everybody fucking killed tonight. The emotions were high. The messages were high. Samples, like, what a show. What a fucking show. But you guys know the drill. Let's close it out. Let's give some shout outs. Let's show some love. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's go, my friends. So first off, a huge shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. You guys are wonderful fucking human beings. A huge shout out to everybody that came through. Even if you just lurked and chilled or anything like that, we appreciate it, man. We definitely appreciate it. Huge shout out to, let's see here. Huge shout out to Ghost, of course. Huge shout out to the homie Southpaw, and welcome to the streaming family, my friend. Love. Huge shout out to the homie Onwuka per usual, and anybody else that lurked and chilled, even if you just came through and lurked and chilled for a bit. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays, my friends. So thank you. Huge shout out to everybody that did submit tonight. Huge shout out to the homie Deezit. Huge shout out to Sam's Raps. Huge shout out to the homie Southpaw. Huge shout out to Jordan. Huge shout out to Single Digits. Huge shout out to homie Ghost. Huge shout out to Brayden, Seasons, Mosto, Kimon, Offspring, Mysterious, Onwuka, and the homie Pegasus. Much love, my friends. And of course, huge shout out to all of our Music Mondays Patrons, man. You guys are fucking wonderful individuals. Thank you. Huge shout out to the homie Jordan, the homie Mark, Ryuki, Kruker, TDG, and anybody else who's subscribed to the Music Mondays Patreon in the past. You guys are fucking wonderful as well. Thank you. Let's see here, my friends. Okay, so what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so? We got a quite a stacked week ahead of us, man. Quite a stacked week. We've been pumping out exclusives and articles and just so much other shit going down here at Music Mondays, man. But we're actually in the middle of planning our next event, so that's kind of taking up all the staff's time right now. And again, once we finalize some things with the events, you guys will first go. So you guys know the drill, man. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And of course, this episode will be live on Patreon tonight as soon as the show goes offline. And of course, we'll be tweeting out the top 3 artists of tonight's show as soon as the show goes offline. Submissions for episode 230 will be live tomorrow, June 10th. So if you're watching this live, they'll be live tomorrow. If you're watching this anywhere else, submissions are already open. So make sure you go drop your tracks, your links, or anything like that, and go show that post love. And of course, SoundCloud Sunday submissions open every single Wednesday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you're following Music Mondays on all social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Threads, TikTok, wherever you're at, we are there. So make sure you follow us on your preferred social media and stay up to date with all of our announcements. And of course, you can stream Music Mondays episodes anywhere you want on anchor.fm/allmusicmondays. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. And of course, you can go check out the show over on YouTube as well. So make sure you go and do that. What a show, man. What a fucking show. Well done, my friends. Well done. So we got a pretty stacked week ahead of us, like I said. So make sure you follow us on socials and stay up to date with everything that's going down. And of course, we'll be live next week for episode 230 of the Music Mondays podcast. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. And I stream quite literally 5-6 days a week. So make sure you come stop by the channel and come kick it with the kid. We're always watching YouTube videos, breaking down speedruns. Going to be getting back into some more gaming content soon. So you guys know the drill. I'm always live. So make sure you come through the stream, come kick it. And of course, I'll be live tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll be live next Monday for episode 230 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys know the drill, man. Follow, subscribe below. Everything linked below. All my socials, all the Music Mondays socials linked down below. And again, huge shout out to everybody that came through and showed love tonight. You guys are fucking wonderful. Thank you. And like I said, tomorrow, per usual, and of course next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be safe. I love you. Take care. It's your boys, Slays, and we'll see you next week for another episode. And we'll see you tomorrow for a regular stream. Let's get it, baby. Love you. Bye. Be safe.